Welcome to ACT Fitness Radio, the podcast teaching you to aspire, conquer, and transform your body and mind. Here's your host, Adam Castro.
All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Adam, and you are listening to ACT Fitness Radio. We've got a treat for you guys in this episode. We have a special guest, Dr. Kerry Woods of WOODS Chiropractic. He's a chiropractic practitioner here in Whittier, California, and you're going to be hearing Jaylene and I talk with him about a couple different topics in health and wellness. But before I let you go from this intro, I do want to encourage you, go ahead and visit our website, actfitnessacademy.com, especially if you have not taken our free quiz. You just go to the website, scroll down a little bit, and go to test your fitness knowledge or your knowledge of health and wellness. Take the free quiz, and you're going to be blessed with some really awesome information. And also be sure to check out our Instagram at ACT Fitness Academy. Without further ado, here's the episode.
Don't judge me.
Coffees nowadays are just insanely filled with calories and sugar.
You should have seen him when I introduced the short. He was like, "What is that?"
It's a baby cup.
It's the kids' cup. Yeah.
Brevo or something, right?
Breve.
Breve. Yeah.
But this is just a short. It's just called a short.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had the realization because I was always like, you get a bigger cup, that means it's gonna have more. It's gonna have more caffeine in it, and then it was just
It's like when you get a cappuccino in a grande cup, and you're like, it's half empty because it's just espresso and foam.
Yeah.
And then you realize too, like the double shot venti is going to be the exact same amount of caffeine as the double shot short.
They can fit in
so,
that. Yeah.
But I'm not getting I'm not getting a gallon of milk with it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was horrible. I just had a client. It's sad that they do this, but I had a client who went to the movies and it just dawned on me, like they've got the three, I talked about in the last episode, they got the three food groupings of sugar, sweet, salty, and fat, right? Sweet, salty, and fat are those food groupings that we just can go at for forever. We can go nonstop, and they've got them all right there at the movie theater. You get your popcorn, right? That can be filled with butter, so you got salty and fat there, and then
if
you
that
got
stuff
your
even is butter, who knows what that mystery?
Yeah.
That's like mystery syrup. I don't even know what that is.
That's true.
I look at that. I'm guilty. Once in a while, and I'm like, what is that stuff? I don't even know what it is. It's probably canola oil, which is really bad for you. Yeah. Try to bring my own pumpkin.
And then they get the big gulp of Coca-Cola, which is the sweet and the sugar, and then it's all the same price, so you feel like you have to get the bigger one, otherwise you're not getting a good deal. It's so bad.
They upsell you.
It's the system. The system.
Yeah, exactly. People are doomed because they don't know how to get out of that.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about hiking, right? So you said that you hike over in the Shivoham area.
Yeah, we do Shivoham Switchbacks. They're called.
Okay.
We come. So here's how you get to it. From this side of the hill, you would go Whittier Boulevard all the way to Habra, and then take Habra and then go over the hill. And as you come over to the other side, right before you get to Pathfinder, which everybody's turning right, you go left where those water towers are. Okay, as soon as you pass those this is called Old Fullerton Road.
Okay, yeah.
As soon as you pass those water towers, you'll see there's a little gated entrance that says Powder Canyon Recreational Use Area. And then you just drive in there. There's nasty potholes, so be careful if your car, unless you're in a 4x, I'm not. And just go down that road slowly, and about it's about an eighth of a mile. You'll get to a gravel parking lot and a horse ring. You just park there.
Okay.
And then there's a sign that shows you basically, just look, if you'll see other people going, you're basically just going to go head south. And you're going to get on that trail. And the first 2 miles are shaded with 200, 300, 400-year-old oak trees. It's beautiful.
Oh.
It's fantastic. You see deer. I've seen bobcats. We saw a pretty dang big rattlesnake just a couple days ago. Yeah, Monday this week. Rattlesnakes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's fun. Coyotes all the time.
We'll have to come out and run earlier then, because we normally run like a 5 or 6 p.m. right when the sun's coming down, and so I've even been a little scared of going.
I carry it's called Grizzly Bear Repellent.
Okay.
It's personal use pepper spray.
Okay.
But it shoots from like here to that corner, it shoots a ways, and it fans out. So if you're getting attacked by a grizzly bear, this is powerful enough to do it. So I just have it in case there's mountain lions. And the story of why I bought it is because I've seen mountain lions 3 times. And they're very skittish. People never see those, but I hike solo a lot. I love it.
So
I love the catharsis of being out there, and I'll go 6 miles back alone. And I'll just play, like, on my phone, I'll be playing, like, Native American Indian flute music, and I'll just be like, it's great. You just connect.
Your senses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're having to be more aware of how you're stepping because nothing is even on the ground. The smell is amazing, especially right after it's rained. Your senses are just totally overwhelmed. I remember not running for a while in the trails, and then because of Spartan racing, I went back to running in the trails because I was in cross country for 1 semester in high school. And then when I started training for Spartan racing, I'm like, well, I have to go back into those trails. I'm not going to be running flat. And
Right. You train on the streets, it's not the same thing.
Absolutely not the same thing.
It's like trying to learn golf at a driving range. Eventually, you're going to have to play the real course because you're not going to hit a ball off of a mat. You're going to hit it off of grass. And if you don't know how to do that, so it's the same thing. You just got to be careful of your ankles, You got to be pretty careful because you'll hit some holes and you'll be like, there goes your race because you get a grade 3 sprain on your talofibular ligament or something like that.
And that's where making sure that you're engaged and you know the imbalances in your body. I know for me, just because of how I think it's because of how I drive. I think it's because of driving the car. My right foot is out this way, and then my left foot wants to go a little bit in, and so I always end up rolling on my left foot. I don't always roll. I have rolled on my left foot, and I've noticed I really do have to keep that right foot in check, bring it in a little bit when I'm running, and it's totally intentional. When I'm running, I have to keep that focus there, and then when I'm running, especially downhill, I have to keep that left foot out. Otherwise, I don't have any stability of where I'm placing that foot. And I think a lot of that has to do with just my intention of, am I pushing more with the big toe or am I pushing more with the side of my foot? And I think it's just different for both of my feet. And I've had to spend this last couple months in journey just trying to be even, just be even.
That's not fun to run and have to make those kinds of calculations because
it's too much thinking when you're in nature.
Exactly, yeah. Have you ever been sized for orthotics or had your foot angles looked at and things like that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, we do all that. Yeah, I recommend a product called Protalis.
Okay.
It's just I like it because it's a very good orthotic. It lasts for at least a year or two in your shoe, and it's not expensive.
Okay.
For many years, I sold $300, $400 pairs of orthotics, and they're great and everything. But a lot of people just went, wow, $300, dollars. That's kind of just for the orthotic. I'd be like, yeah, but they're custom. This company now is making pretty good custom. They're not as custom, but it's good enough that you can correct for, supination or excess pronation or a flat arch or an excessive arch.
And people don't understand how important that is,
it's
right?
Very important.
Because your feet are connected to the ground, and then from there it's the rest of your body. So if you've got hips that are out of alignment, shoulders that are out of alignment, if you've got slouching or tightness in one area, I mean, the first place to look is going to be the feet. It's going to be what.
It's just like your house. Your house, you don't see your foundation. It's under everything.
That's true.
But then when you look at you're like, wow, this wall's bent. That's coming from the foundation.
Or when there's cracks, you finally notice, hey, something's not right here.
Well, we've even seen the importance of we've been walking barefoot more often now.
That's true.
Because there's just imagine just walking around with soft gloves and then thick gloves every time you wake up in the morning, and then you live your day that way with these gloves on your hands. It's like you would never have the kind of connection that you have with your hands because you've been wearing stuff over them all day. And for our feet, that's what we do. There's sensations that we're not feeling because we walk all day in shoes.
It's so interesting that you say that because I talk to hundreds of people every week and no one ever mentions stuff like that. No one ever asks anything like that. And I've been preaching this or telling people for many years, go barefoot. Touch the ground. Get to the, get out. An interesting story from years and years and years ago. I was at a seminar in Las Vegas, and you may have heard of Wayne Dyer before. Mm-hmm. Wayne Dyer was speaking, and he was talking about a relative in his family who had migraine headaches and anxiety attacks and insomnia. Mm-hmm. And went to the standard doctor, and the doctor said, yeah, we can't handle this. You probably should go to a psychologist or psychiatrist. And he ended up at a psychiatrist. and the recommendation was medications, of course.
Right.
And so he started in on these psychotropic medications. He thought he was getting relief, and it wasn't really true relief. He just felt side effects from the meds and all that. And so fast forward to Wayne Dyer's I think he was in India, and he met with this guru. Should I turn that off? Sorry, I didn't even realize this thing made sound. I just got it. What is it doing? Okay, so he's in India, and he's talking to this guru. I forget what you would call an Indian guru, but anyways. So he says, well, your son your relative has migraines and anxiety and all these different things. He goes, and insomnia, and he goes, oh, he doesn't need medication. He needs reconnection to the earth. And Wayne was like, what's that, And he goes, oh, if you have insomnia and you can't sleep, you just go outside and take your shoes off, even if it's 2 a.m, and you walk outside and you go stand on the grass for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go do it. He's like, wow, really? And he goes, yeah, the earth resonates at certain frequency, and then when we're disconnected for so long, you get off frequency, and when you touch the ground and you get back to it, the earth is a lot bigger than us, so it forces you to get back to that frequency. There's a process that happens in physics that I could explain, but I won't at this time.
Well, I think it's important to know that there is an importance there. That people don't think about the fact that we have the sun and the moon and the planet rotation, and there's magnetism pull that is involved there. And I don't know all that's involved in that, but it is important to know that we have adapted to be able to live on this earth barefoot.
Right.
We're kind of supposed to be all these things that we create. The shoes, the heels, all of that kind of stuff is just to make our life easier. To having high heels makes our calves look better because we don't actually do calf raises, or it's just little things like that.
True. And and this all goes back to what you were talking about before about eating and how people eat. And if you think about the history of what did we do 1,000 years ago, or caveman days or whatever, the people went out looking around for an animal. And if they couldn't find an animal, they would eat bushes and plants and whatever they could find. But then once in a while, they'd get an animal and kill it and eat it, and that'd be on a Monday. And then Tuesday, no animal, and Wednesday, no animal, just eating some bushes. And then, Thursday or Friday, they'd get another animal, and people don't eat like that.
Yeah.
Right.
We could drive down the street and pick up animal between 2 buns. And people do that 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's not how evolutionarily or creative, whatever you want to think. I mean, history and time evolution. How we ate 1,000 years ago.
The very fact that we can survive days without eating food shows that we have that designed into us. We do have that designed into us that we can survive that way. But it's okay. If you don't have food today, it's okay. You're not going to die.
Exactly.
That was something I said in the last episode.
Yeah.
You're not going to die if you don't eat today. And I think so many people think that they're either going to die or they're going to waste away. Their muscles are going to be gone for the bodybuilding community and the powerlifting community. If I don't eat, I'm not fueling that muscle. When it's like, whoa, these other things that are just as important, like your stress, like your bloating, like all these digestive issues that may be preventing you from recovering as well as you should be, those are all just as important as you having enough glycogen and having enough amino acids stored in the muscles and things like that. Just as important.
I think we've been told what a new comfortable is, right? From everything from what kind of shoes you should wear, how comfortable you should be when you're walking on the ground, how comfortable you should be when you're eating food. There's a new comfortable that's not so comfortable. It's not how it's supposed to be. Definitely not how it's supposed to be. We have to come back to, going outside barefoot and not just being barefoot when we're at the beach on the sand. That's great too, but there's other things that we need to bring into our everyday life that just doesn't happen. Because
we don't have the opportunity as much as we'd like to be able to be barefoot. There's some things you can do, and I did one of them, and as crazy as this sounds, it works. I pounded a copper rod into the ground outside my bedroom.
Yeah.
It's 6 feet long, whacked it into the ground with a sledgehammer, soldered a wire onto it, and ran the wire through the wall into the house, and at night when I sleep, I connect to it. So I'm connected to the ground. It's called earthing. or grounding.
Yeah,
I'm grounded, Now, after about a month or two, I realized I should probably put a fuse in case there was a lightning. So I put a fuse. So
that's good.
Yeah. So I did, protect myself.
I think that's not a common problem here.
But another one that I tell patients all the time is don't be afraid of the sun.
Yeah.
The most common vitamin deficiency in this country is vitamin D.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people are so terrified that you'll see them at a stoplight that they'll have shields all over their arms and they have looks like a welding helmet on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I understand why you're doing that only because I ask people of the same nationality what's going on there, and it's a cultural thing because there's a status symbol to being light skinned in their culture. But the reality is, you need sun, and you shouldn't be putting sunscreen on every day either. You should probably read those labels because those are some strong chemicals. So I tell patients, if you got a private space in your backyard, don't giggle, but get outside and get naked and lay in your backyard and get sun on your white skin, and just do that for 10 minutes. A couple times a week. I mean, obviously, when it's raining, you can't do it. And if you live in Winnipeg or something, northern United States, you can't get as much sun. That's why people have seasonal affect disorder. It's because they're missing sunshine, and that's important to us. Here we are in Southern California. Take advantage of it. Yeah. Your chances of flu are going to go down, way down, by getting sunshine like that.
And I think the reason why people don't really think that way is because they're too afraid to get sunburned because they don't know how to appropriately think about it. When people go out into the sun and they put on their sunscreen, it's because they want to be out there for hours. And we don't need to be out in the sun for hours.
Yeah.
It just that's why you're getting sunburst overload. It's just like the person who's going into the gym wants to train 3 hours twice a day, and then says, but I need this protein and these amino acids and all this recovery supplementation and stuff like that to be able to get my 3 workouts in the day. Well, maybe you shouldn't be doing the 3 workouts out in the day. There needs to be moderation. You have to actually allow the body to go through the process of stress. The sun on the body and burning the skin just a little is stress on the body, but that's how it adapts, and it needs that stress there to be able to absorb the vitamin D.
But people are even putting sunblock on to sit in the office, to sit. It's huge in the cosmetic industry to put sunblock on under your makeup or to get makeup that has it in it, and you don't.
We're just obsessed with
just daily applying.
We're just obsessed with putting things between us and nature, and we put shoes between us and the ground. We put makeup and sunscreen between us and the sun. We put clothes between us and
That's going back to what I was saying. It's not comfortable. It's not. I feel like people have told us that that's not normal. The cosmetic industry has told us that it's not normal to do that. You need this to look this way. You need this to cover up this. That's dangerous. So add this. Yeah.
One of the nice things, though, about where we are as a people and a country and is that people are questioning things. Yeah. There's a lot. We're going through another phase of questioning, kind of like the 60s and the 70s, where people questioned everything. People are and I think it's a product of social media and things like that, where people will see things on Facebook and they're like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was a dangerous side to a flu shot. I didn't know there was there was a risk in putting avobenzone, which is one of the main ingredients in sunscreen. I didn't know there was a risk to drinking tap water. And now people find this stuff out because there's people saying, hey,
fluoride in their toothpaste.
Look at these things. Don't be putting aluminum-based deodorant in your armpit every day because aluminum on your surface of your body is toxic. Yeah. And people are like, what? So, and like my wife has said before, we live in a day and age where there is absolutely no excuse for not knowing something. There's no excuse. You can literally cruise the internet and get a PhD. You could. Right, you would have some opinions to filter through, of course.
Exactly.
That's always find out the baloney and the fake news and the truth.
Right.
But if you studied, seriously researching things and did your own deep research, you could have a serious amount of knowledge in just a short amount of time. Yeah. Because it's out there.
Right.
And you just have to be committed to finding the truth. If you're committed, if you're trying to look online for the answer that you want to hear, and then you're like, but this guy says this, aluminum in my deodorant is totally okay because this guy said so, and he's got a PhD and he went through this schooling and blah blah blah. If you're just looking for what you want to find, then you're not actually looking for truth. You're just looking for justification in what you want.
And you will always find that.
Yeah, and you always find it, because in search for that knowledge, there's going to be a million voices. Right. But I think it's just being committed to finding what the truth is, and you're going to find the truth through the sincerity of people who are actually going what I found is that if you look at what someone believes all across the board, and it sounds like more of what you can do with your own body, things that you can change in your own body, things that seem very natural, like, hey, it's supposed to be this way, and not taking in outside substances or outside supplementation even, I think, can go too far. That those are the people who are just encouraging you to take control of your own body and to actually use your body to do what it's meant to do. Those are the people that I found really do want to illuminate the truth.
Yeah, you're reminding me of one of my little hobbies and side projects is I'm working on writing a book, but it's what I've got right now for the last like 10, 15, 20 years of doing this is quotes. Mm-hmm. I make up my own quotes, and what you just said reminded me of one of them, and it goes like this. It's don't necessarily distrust man or humankind in popular in general, but distrust the person that doesn't trust nature, because nature has never been wrong.
Yeah.
You don't find any fallacies in nature. You know, is it good to eat things that are growing around? You know, yeah, it's great to eat things that are growing around. It's generally going to be safe. Is it good to put chemicals all over them? Probably not.
Yeah.
Just everything you can think of, it always goes back to, like, if you're as natural as you possibly could be, you can't go wrong. Yeah. You almost can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're super excited to have you on this episode and podcast. And we're totally excited to do more with you. You're owner of WOODS CHIROPRACTIC.
Right.
Very, very close to us. Just a couple doors down. And it's amazing to know that there's a mind like yours here in the Whittier community. So what are some of your services and how you can help our listeners to basically find that truth?
Yeah. Well, starting at ground zero, we're a general chiropractic office with some specialties. I'm very, as you can hear in this conversation, very holistically minded. Mm-hmm. So I'm very, very interested in helping people three-dimensionally. We can explain that at a later time. Yeah. But basically, your emotional life, your chemical life, and your physical life have to be optimal. Mm. Otherwise, you're not going to get optimal results. In other words, you could just gym the heck out of yourself, but if you don't eat right and you don't meditate and you don't do the other things, it's not going to all add up. Yeah. So as a chiropractor, the most common things that we take care of or come into us are going to be your back pain, your neck pain, your headaches, the auto accidents and things like that. But my general philosophy is to help a person help themselves so that they can get over those kind of problems, because the philosophy of chiropractic is that we don't fix you, we help you fix yourself. Because our belief is that nobody heals another person, only a person's body heals itself. Mm-hmm. And that's through the power that made the body. That's the big sign in my office when you walk in. It says the power that made the body heals the body. Yeah. So trust that power, because that's what's making you alive right now. Yeah. And you have to ask yourself the question, well, if I cut my finger, I don't have to think about it over the weekend so that on Monday it's healed. It does it on its own. Yeah. So, right. Mrs. Jones, why do you think that your body is not able to heal from these headaches right now? Yeah. I ask every single patient that question. And, I frequently, I get the right answer from them. They kind of like figure out, well, it could be this, I go, it probably is that. Yeah. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a scan of your nervous system, and we're going to see if your nervous system is involved in this problem. Mm-hmm. Because if your nervous system is involved in this problem, then it's very likely that you're going to have a problem in the spine called subluxation. Subluxation is when vertebrae are not moving properly. Mm-hmm. They're either out of alignment or they just don't move correctly. When that situation happens, it's disturbing to the nervous system. The crazy thing is that sometimes the body, in its wisdom, will do that on purpose. Uh-huh. It's just like if you drink a whole bottle of tequila, you will vomit, and that vomiting is good for you because
it's a signal.
Correct. You did something wrong, you messed up, and your body doesn't like it. So don't go and take a stop me from vomiting pill. or rush to the hospital and stop me from vomiting. This is, no, that's part of the mechanism.
I just told a client the other day she had overslept in one of our sessions, and one thing that I told her, because she obviously, when that happens, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry and so sorry. And I told her, look, if we're not listening to the body, sometimes the body will stop and say, look, you're going to listen to me.
Oh yeah.
And I think that happens more often than we think, and then we try to mask it with things like ibuprofen, or mask it with these medications. It's not going to solve the issue.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve the issue.
Yeah.
I have a crazy statement that I'll tell some people, and that is, this is going to sound so odd, but what I want you to do is make friends with the pain. Don't embrace it and like welcome it into your life, but accept it as a signal, like you used the word signal. Accept it as a signal so that you can ask it a question, almost like it's its own entity, because it's your body doing that. It's coming from your own nervous system.
Yeah.
So say to it, what are you trying to tell me? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Why am I waking up at 2 a.m. and don't sleep till 5? What is this insomnia trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Because if you meditate deeply on that, you're going to start realizing what it is. And then you're going to be offered the correction. And I'm a firm believer that people don't end up in my office by accident. There's a reason they're there. There's a reason people gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they don't even know why. But and I don't even know why. But I'm going to find out why. And in time, that reason is going to be found, and we're going to help them, with their health situation. So initially I might get, like I said, a headache or a back pain or a sprained wrist or whatever it may be. But as that time goes on, I try to educate people to realize that chiropractic is something that you can do for a lifetime as a habit that will help you undo what's happening to you in life. So we know through studies that people who get adjusted regularly have less problems with insomnia.
Yeah.
We know people that get adjusted regularly have less problems with anxiety and all these other things. Now, when someone would say, well, that crazy chiropractor, he thinks he can cure cancer. I already told you the philosophy of chiropractic is not that we can cure anything. In fact, chiropractors frequently say we don't even treat anything. What we do is help the body help itself. So I'll tell you this, you get a scan and the scan says your nervous system's upset. Something's not right. And then we check you and we say, yeah, you have these subluxations in your spine that are irritating your nervous system. And then you say, well, I have cancer. Well, I'm not going to say, well, I think, if we adjust you, you'll probably cure the cancer. But I'll tell you this, it's certainly not going to hurt to remove one of the roadblocks to your body's healing mechanism.
Yeah. And I'm sure a big part of that is that you get people, I'm sure, who are and why you would probably encourage younger people to start early with chiropractic. I don't know if that's something you encourage.
Sure. My youngest patient's like 10 minutes old.
Okay, so
people want a lot of people want their kids adjusted. Just check them. They're not in pain.
Yeah.
They're getting adjusted for health reasons.
Yeah, you get people who are in their 40s, I'm sure 50s, sometimes even older or younger, who have gone through these 30 plus years of bad habits, 30 plus years of things that they've never even thought to do with their bodies, and I'm sure you are not short of things that you can help them with.
We have a lot of tools. We have a lot of different physical therapy modalities in our office, including cold laser and things like that, and deep tissue work. We have 3 massage therapists. But like I said, if after a while I try to teach them the philosophy of what's happening with their bodies, so that they can make a decision in the long run if that's for them or not. Yeah. Because some people will decide, hey, all I wanted was to be out of pain, and that's fine. That's their decision. I'm not here to tell anybody what they have to do, but I'll tell you what I would do if I'm you.
Yeah.
So then you get to decide what to do with that information. So I would say, in my 27 years of doing this, probably a good 50% of people will stick around and stick around for a long, long time until they move or till, whatever, and they get monthly adjustments.
And whether they stay with you or at least take that information, the most important thing is that they do know the importance of all those things, the importance of knowing how to view their body appropriately, and then all the outside stresses on their body appropriately.
Yeah. And the nice thing too is that we have the technology to be able to scan a person completely safe and find out if this is benefiting them or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm the first one to admit, hey, that you're not getting any benefit here, so something must not be working right. It may or may not be the chiropractic that's not helping you. It may be something outside of here, because you're with me 3 minutes once a month, you know, and what you do on the outside world, I don't know. It's just like your clients. You can't, you know, you're not babysitting them when they're gone from here.
Yeah,
when they're at the in the drive-through line at In-N-Out Burger getting the double quad style, you know, whatever. Which you should have once a year, because you should treat yourself to something, you know. But like we started off this conversation with, it's balance. It's balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's balance.
Yeah.
You know, water is great for you, but you can't drink 256 ounces a day. You're going to cause hyponatremia.
I was just telling my
dilution
client
of magnesium and all
Yes.
kinds of, you know, crazy problems that happen to people, you
Can't
know,
have too much.
because they got imbalanced, you know. Like if you ate 6 pounds of broccoli, I don't know that it's been tested, but it's not balanced.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know? It's not balanced.
Dr. Woods, it's been a pleasure to have you on this episode. Where can we find you? Where can we find you on social media and other resources to find what you do?
Yeah, website is woodschiropractic.com. That's pretty easy to find. On Instagram, I'm at DRK Woods, and on Facebook, it's Woods Chiropractic.
All right.
Yep.
We'll be seeing more of you in the future.
All right, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.